everything is at stake for you.
Right.
You know, and it goes beyond the amount of money that you receive or the amount of parenting time you get or you know, any of those things. It goes into the deepest, closest connection you have had in your life to that point. People are surprised by how long divorce takes a lot of times.
True.
You know, we're in California, and I think we're pretty typical of most states, but frankly, the courts are overburdened. The volume's too huge. They can't get to it at the detail that they'd like to. They can't get to it at the pace they'd like to, or any of that, because there's just not enough bodies.
Yeah.
And here, divorce takes usually around 12 months. Sometimes 18, but it's
right.
Yeah.
Well, when you start getting to the 1 year mark, the court does start
trying to move you along.
But,
right.
But that's true. The complex cases definitely.
Right. And then you have those one-offs. You know, we have a case that's gone, 4 years. We have one case that's been going 10 years. We have, we have cases that certainly exceed that 12 to 18 month timeline. And so, part of what you have to start to recognize is not just the financial cost of this, but the emotional. The judge's role in a family law case is not to decide who's the guilty and who's the innocent. That is how a criminal system works, which is mostly what we see on TV.
Yeah.
But it's not how the family law system works. And this is the misperception that people have. A family law system is there, and we have an episode called The Court's Agenda. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it because it delves into this topic in great detail. Yeah. But the court's agenda in a family law case is to essentially decide how the property is divided, how much support flows, and what the parenting schedule is going to be.
You come to that hearing with all of this baggage. This is his fault because he had the affair.
Right. Of course it is.
She left. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
He did have the affair. What are you talking about? Sorry. I digress.
Or, so you have all this emotional baggage that you're bringing, and then you see them across a crowded courtroom. Mm-hmm. And as lawyers, we tend to not get this because we're trained to be objective, so to speak, and to treat this like we're a robot or something. And my goal as an attorney is to get you the most support, the most parenting time, the best result by certain measures. And there's a lot more going on than that.
Yeah. There's all the emotional stuff that comes wrapped up in all of this. And that's what makes family law so difficult for the attorney and for the party going through the divorce.
Yeah. These are soluble problems.
Right. Well, and when you're in a court situation and you're having this litigation, like you said earlier, you're airing all this stuff in front of everybody. I mean, if you're not nervous going into it, when you get there and there's a room full of 20 people, 25 people, then you'll be nervous.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to combat those nerves, we always tell people, is to go down and watch.
Yeah, go down and watch.
Usually they're public. Sometimes they'll have a closed trial.
It's very entertaining too.
Well, if it's not you, it's entertaining. But for the most part, most of the judges will have, it's public. The courtrooms are public, and so you can go in and watch your judge and the court. The bailiff may come over and say, hey, who are you? Who are you? What are you doing here? And you just say, oh, well, I have court later in the week, and so I came to observe, so I know what to expect. And they'll say okay, and they'll let you stay.
Right, you have an absolute right to be there.
Yeah. So, but the bailiff's job is to keep the courtroom safe for the judge, and so they may question you, but don't let that intimidate you. Just, state what you're there for. But it is helpful to go watch, and it will make you less nervous. And the more that you're in that environment and the more you watch and the more you observe, the less nervous you'll be when you go. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It helps.
So which should it be? Expensive lawyer and tons of anxiety, or a resolution that might not get it down to the penny, but is going to satisfy everybody's needs.
And you'll be done.
And you'll be done. And the problem is that litigation that you're going through interferes with your ability to parent.
Right.
And so the sooner you get that behind you, the better. Now, Dad says, but this resolution doesn't give me enough time with the kids. Okay. If you want more time with your kids, then take the energy that you're devoting to the fight and give it to your kids, whatever parenting time you get.
Right.
And you will get, over time, as you build that relationship and build your household, you will get more time.
And people don't think that works. They don't, but it does.
Yeah.
It works every single time.
Well, not every single time.
Just about.
I mean, we can't promise results.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not trying to promise results, but I'm just saying
it's very effective.
Yeah, more times than not, that is successful. This doesn't just interfere with your ability to parent your kids. I mean, this interferes with your ability to sleep. It interferes with your ability to eat. It interferes with your ability to work. It interferes with your ability to concentrate on anything other than the litigation.
Right. True.
I mean, it's miserable.
Right. And here's the secret. Once it's done, once you get your settlement, 10 years from now, you're not going to fret at all about whether he got an extra couple grand in the retirement.
That's true.
And it's not even going to enter your mind. You're going to be worried about today,
Yeah.
If you've lived a fantastic life according to your plan, which you developed with your divorce coach during the process, your best life's ahead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting whatever screwed up that marriage, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a clean slate. It's time for you to figure out what you've always wanted to be and what the Lord put you on this earth to do.
Well, and the hard part is change is scary. Change is scary. And so we've been behind door number 1 our whole lives, and now we're out in the middle of the hallway, and we got to open door number 2, and I don't know what's behind door number 2, and therefore I'm scared. And the irony of it is that most of the time what's behind door number 2 is way better than what was behind door number 1. And you just are living in that place of fear where you can't even get to door number 2.
Yeah.
And, one of my favorite quotes around this is Tony Robbins, where I heard him say one time, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty that you can reasonably tolerate.
Wow.
You have to step out into that uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen, but being confident in your own ability to figure it out. Right. Being confident in your faith or whatever grounds you, being confident that, God's going to provide what you need when you need it, show you the path forward. You have to be able to have that courage. And, you were just having a conversation before we started recording this episode that the main ingredient necessary for courage is fear. If you're doing something to move yourself forward, but it doesn't, you're not fearful about it and it doesn't scare you and it's pretty run of the mill, well, that doesn't really require courage.
Right.
And when you're acting through courage and you're overcoming that fear, that's when you end up getting the phenomenal results that you don't even think are possible right now.
We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands.